first time in New York history, a room full of people froze to death in July.
It's an unimaginable evil with the power to kill by fear itself.
Like, literally scared to death?
Now it's headed straight for us.
Is something trying to get out?
Many things.
It's commanding an army of the undead.
I think we're all going to die.
Hold on to your ass! This could bring about the end of humankind.
Disgusting.
Y'all.
Hey!
Look at that, Ghostbusters in IMAX, which we unfortunately didn't get to see today.
No.
But y'all, gonna say, probably gonna come back for the IMAX.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just came out of Ghostbusters, a press screening of Ghostbusters. Yeah, there's the words.
Words.
KP, what are your thoughts? Initial thoughts?
Loved it. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. I almost dressed up in my official Ghostbusters uniform, but I didn't want to, have everybody like, oh man, I want that. Anyway, take pictures. I wanted to watch the film. I wanted to be into the film, and amazing. Top 3 Ghostbusters film. There hasn't been that many, but they capture the essence of everything. Yeah, to me, Ghostbusters #1, top 2. This is actually battling with Afterlife. I really enjoyed Afterlife, and now this one, they really, because Ghostbusters 2 is kind of whack. Yeah. So the OG Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and now Frozen Empire. It's right there, man. This was amazing. They really captured the spirit. I can't wait for more. We are living in a great time of being a Ghostbusters fan.
It's true. This movie has a lot of great Easter eggs. Make sure you keep an eye out for things like comic book references, actually a lot of Ghostbusters 2 references, and definitely make sure you see Afterlife before you see this.
Yes.
But other than that, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which is the one we are seeing this week, comes out March 22nd in IMAX. Get all your tickets right now. Yeah, and make sure
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Catch your full review on the NRW out soon.
Yo! Initial thoughts coming out of the press screening for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Heather Hurt, what did you think?
Good vibes all around leaving that theater. Not as jump scary as I was expecting it to be, but other than that, pretty decent film, pretty decent Ghostbusters film. Pretty proud to go today. Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna have our full review. We're definitely gonna be talking about this. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. Didn't suit up because I didn't want to, hey, take a picture. I wanted to focus.
People were getting mad at him for it, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's actually a ton of people dressed up in Ghostbusters gear all over there, and they're looking amazing. I wanted to be a part of it, but again, yes, amazing. Check this out. Definitely gonna be recommending this on all things. We're gonna have a full review. Classic, man. Yep. Amazing.
See you on March 22nd in IMAX, y'all.
March 22nd. Subscribe. All the things. YouTube. Nerds World of the World. Boom. There you go. That was the trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Man, it's so good that it's back. This is a childhood classic for me. It's your boy Creepy, Nerds Rule the World. Man, I'm just, it's been a day, y'all, and I need to see Ghostbusters again so that way I can just decompress and just have fun. Joining me to talk all things Ghostbusters is my pal, Heather Hurt. I didn't forget you. You're not in the afterlife.
It's
Heather Hurt.
It's fine.
How are you, Heather?
No, I'm not in the afterlife. That was a previous film. So
exactly. That's what I was alluding to. Come on. So anyway, you and we both enjoyed Ghostbusters. My mind isn't frozen, Heather. I know you're like, man, he's like all over the place. He's tripping. I'm trying to figure out analogies to like have fun with this, but sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. But Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Were you a Ghostbusters fan when I don't even know? We didn't talk actually prior to this about being a Ghostbusters fan. I know I think you know that I'm a Ghostbusters fan because I have the whole costume and everything. But are you a Ghostbusters fan, Heather?
I think it's illegal to not be a Ghostbusters fan if you're a movie fan.
It would be un-American, Heather.
It would be very much un-American. And I think you and I did the Afterlife review together, if I remember right. We could have.
What? As you know, we do so many things, it all stacks up, and it's like, okay. So I was excited. They relaunched it. even though I was a fan of the female version that they were trying to do, but
I think we need to stop. I think we need to stop calling it
right?
the female version, because I feel like that's kind of degrading it a little bit. Let's talk about it as Ghostbusters 2016.
Yes, my apologies to all of to everyone that may take offense to that. I don't mean it in a negative fashion.
No. It's just
I'm against the motherfuckers that are against it, because I enjoyed it and I'm all about it. So anyway.
Honestly, you know what? I was honestly kind of surprised. Part of me thought that because in reality, Ghostbusters 2016, I don't mean to get off on this tangent, but Ghostbusters 2016 actually had, well, I'm not standing on a soapbox. It actually had some pretty good reviews. I think it had like 85 or something %. Like a very small percentage of people actually didn't like it. Basically, the people who preemptively and never actually saw it hated on a film that didn't deserve it at all. What if you watched our weekly suggestions, which you should have already? I did mention that the dance scene. I mean, the dance scene is the dance scene. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about that. But other than that, the movie was a lot of fun. And I kind of was hoping that we were going to get a cameo or two, and maybe I missed it. We did talk to some people who were at the premiere, and they said that we need to see it a second time, because they saw a whole bunch more Easter eggs the second time they watched it at our screening versus the first time. So there could have been a cameo or an Easter egg in there from the 2016 film, but I kind of wish that we got something just to acknowledge that was a thing. There is a multitude of dimensions. There's a multitude of spatial areas where they could have been in this universe. So
I hope they do, like, within the Ghostbusters universe, like you're saying, a dimensional thing, like they did with the MCU. Show a nod to it, come back, let them play around together. I would love that, because again, I enjoyed it. My wife and daughter, who I went when we saw the 2016 version, were Ghostbusters fans, but became even more Ghostbusters fans through that film. So I think that also added to my love, because we shared a combined Ghostbusters love even more so after that. So yeah, outstanding. But anyway, we're here to talk about Frozen Empire. But one thing that you mentioned when we were at the screening, Heather, and that we should I'm sure we are definitely going to talk about with our review right now, is that highly suggesting Afterlife. So if you didn't see Afterlife, I think you could see it, but you're missing a lot of threads if you don't see Afterlife. But Afterlife, just to bring it back, was outstanding, with them going away from the 2016 version to bring it back to the roots of the OG Ghostbusters, which to me can never be topped. It's what gave us, this franchise. That will always be the numero uno, but I think I was telling you, Afterlife now and Frozen Empire are right there. I don't know which is. I think maybe I give the nod to Afterlife than Frozen Empire, but outstanding. And I think we're living in a great time as Ghostbusters fans.
Yes, I totally agree. I will say that there are definitely things from Afterlife that you really need to know. As an example, Paul Rudd's character, Gary, he has kind of an arc situation in this film that you would not understand if you didn't know his relationship to Phoebe from the get-go. Like, you would not understand really how that goes unless you see not the original film, the first film of this part of the franchise. So definitely, if you haven't, take an hour and a half. It's a really quick film, and honestly, I personally think it has a stronger plot than Frozen Empire, and it definitely has a stronger conclusion than Frozen Empire. But we can get into that in a second. But if you want to see this, if you want to understand a lot of the nuances of Frozen Empire, please see Afterlife first, just so you can understand everything, because honestly, the most emotional point of the film is like in the last 30 seconds of the movie, and it goes with Paul Rudd, and you need to know why that is so emotionally important.
Yes. Thank you, Heather. So real quick synopsis, because we want y'all to see this. We also don't want to spoil things too much, but Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, continuing on the tale that we have from Afterlife. We have all of our characters now somewhat living in New York, some on like a trip away from, because I think it was in Oklahoma, right, Heather? They're in Oklahoma.
I believe so. It's one of the central states. It's just weird.
Yeah. So our main crew, the Spengler family, are like living in the old headquarters because of Winston Zeddemore. They put them up, and now they're being quote unquote Ghostbusters, although they shouldn't be, because the mayor, who, a great throwback there, doesn't really like it. And then we have some of the other minor characters, one working with in the occult shop with Dan, I forgot his character's name, working there, Stance, right, I believe. And then over with Winston, the Ghost Corpse, which you're going to learn more about. I know this ain't spoilers because y'all saw there's a lot of nuggets about that leading up to this. I know I'm not spoiling anything. There's a Ghost Corpse crew that Winston is running, and one of the other young characters is with him. And so all of our characters are in New York, which you have to have it in New York. It's Ghostbusters. To me, it wouldn't be Ghostbusters without New York City. It's the other character in the Ghostbusters universe. And there's a new thing that is found that is going to cause some trouble and
which way am I going
to this object. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. I was figuring out green screen.
There you go. Yep, Heather has it. Actually, I didn't see that. And tied to that object is some spirits. Obviously, it's Ghostbusters, and learning that there's maybe an ancient set of Ghostbusters that are involved with that as well. And so, with that being said, obviously, you know, some weird possession. We all know the plots of movies now, y'all. Something's gonna happen. Who's this ancient group? Where's the big baddie come in? It's all rooted in there. So I'm gonna leave it at that for the story. We get all of our classics coming back as well as our new Ghostbusters. So a lot of fun. I'm gonna throw it to you now, Heather, to get me out of my over talkingness sometime in tangents, to maybe just talk about some of the casts that are new, especially our favorite that's on your picture right there. I really enjoy Kumail. I like Kumail. Yeah. If you can talk on some of the other actors we get, they're different in this one and adding to the cast.
Sure. So in reality, everyone you know podcasts, Lucky, especially if you've already seen you already saw Afterlife. The big one is I'm so bad at this. Kumail Nanjiani. Who I always say his name wrong. I apologize. I'm terrible. I'm white and I'm American. I apologize. I'm terrible at names. I accept who I am. His character Nadim is a brand new character that is, I was actually kind of thinking from like a whole bunch of the nods and the trailers. And once again, one of the really cool things about this is we didn't get a lot.
Yes.
Which I actually like from PR. Sometimes the best stuff you can get is nothing. Now, do you want to promote? Absolutely. But do you have to give everything away? You really, really don't. Nadim's character is, honestly, I loved his character. He plays kind of his other characters. One of the things that Nanjiani does is he's kind of typecast in how he is directed. That's not his fault. Usually that is the directors or the casting directors wanting something out of him specifically. But he got to play this fun, I'm not going to give too much away, because really almost everything that is plot-based is his character. Like a lot of plot-based information is him. Just make sure you know that he's going to be fun, he's going to be goofy, and he really interacts great with the cast. That's just something that Nanjiani, everyone says about him, is that he's just a great character actor, and you see it really well in his role here. But everyone else in this film, you already know, and I mean everybody. There are some incredible cameos in this movie. You're going to see everyone from the university library instructor all the way down to the mayor. I don't want to say their names here, because if you are not wanting to do too much spoilers, it's a lot more fun to see them, because in the theaters, this was a great react film. The amount of people that went, oh, when he showed up or when they showed up was just a lot of fun. The only other real character that you will get to see is Emily Allen Lind, who plays Melody. Her character, she is a ghost. That's all I'm going to give. That's all I'm going to give for now. But she plays a ghost that is an integral part to this story. And it also shows the progression of Ghostbusters in totality. We are no longer about simply victimizing ghosts or vilifying ghosts. We are now also understanding that they could be a victim. Those are the two big characters that we needed to talk about here.
Awesome. Yeah, I was about to say I was about to be PO'd, if you will, but I guess I won't be PO'd, because PO will shine when you'll know who I'm talking about. I'm a fan of his, and I was like, okay, I guess we're not going to talk. Okay, fine. I agree. I agree. So. There are certain things where it's like, I know that I'm one of those people that's like, really, I want to back off from spoilers, but there's also some reactions that our audience deserves to have on their own. Now, you can go to IMDb. All of these people are on IMDb, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, there's also some fun things about Easter eggs and cameos that just give you a great reaction, and we got to experience that, and I think that the audience should too. And you're going to have fun. This is, once again, Jerry just decided to join in on the conversation. Okay. We didn't hear it, so I guess they're spirits.
That's what
okay.
it was, y'all. Anyway,
That's exactly what it is.
so I won't talk about PO, but I want to actually talk about additions. So we'll go off on that tangent maybe a little bit. Great character, and I hope we see more. And again, there's some other characters that y'all will see, and I feel, Heather, on regards to finding your own surprise. So maybe let's talk in the comments later, because I think there's some great additions. But one of the things you brought up too, in regards to a particular ghost that you also mentioned, new kind of character, and we're seeing that interaction. I really like that, Heather, and I was curious with you as well as a Ghostbusters fan. Now that kind of different dimension, if you will, that had something new and different, that maybe where they could go in future installments with Ghostbusters. Like I really enjoy that component, and I was curious, would you like to see that going forward as well, and them exploring it as a subject matter?
Absolutely. What we got in this film was, once again, a lot of cameos and Easter eggs. One of the things that you really got in this film, other than Kuya P mentions that he's not a big Ghostbusters 2 fan, and you're going to get a lot of Ghostbusters 2 in this movie. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know. I found it kind of goofy and fun, but
it was okay. It didn't stack up to the OG one.
It does not. It does not.
You know,
but one thing that you do really get in here is you get a lot of elements of the other properties within the franchise. You get some of the 90s cartoons, some of the comic books in this. And one of the things that you actually have in a lot of those other content was the interactions with spirits and humans. And this film finally brought that into the universe. Yes, we did get some ghosts in the original films, but not really like true interactions and communication. And we get that really well here. And we get that through the same chessboard that we got in Afterlife. It was such a beautiful moment when Melody, not to give too much of a spoiler, even though I don't like doing it, you really get this beautiful moment with Phoebe and Melody. And it's in the same way that you get other feelings for other spirits. It's nice that we're opening up the universe a little bit more, especially since we also have the return of the mini puffs.
Mini puffs. Yes, and that's awesome. By the way, y'all enjoy that. I was laughing. Yeah, Stay Puft, OG classic, and then the fact that now we got mini versions, just adorable. So overall feelings of the story, the film, Heather, a great cast, just everything. I kind of feel yours, but maybe there were some things that just maybe didn't hit all the way. We got to at least give some of those, I'm assuming. For me, it's difficult. I'm just love Ghostbusters. I guess I'll start. I wish we would have got a little bit more Kumail. I thought because of everything else, it probably didn't fit. But I would have liked a little bit more background on Kumail, because he kind of just comes and then he is part of the plot. But then it's more so because he has to figure out, towards the end with, because he's such the part of it that is the glue. But still, I don't know if we got enough background, if will.
That's true. And one of the things that really sucks about having a cast of this size is that you don't get enough of certain character development. This film and the previous film spent a lot of time on Phoebe, and we get a lot of her, and it's wonderful. But we don't really get to see other people grow. We even see a lot of the family members kind of just being swept under the rug. I'm sorry to say it. And we get basically a lot of Ray and a lot of Phoebe, and we don't get a lot of other characters, some of whom are integral to the success of the Ghostbusters. And we'd like to see more. And that's also why you need to go see Afterlife. Lucky, I love her character. I loved her character in Afterlife, and we only get to see her for like probably 15 minutes of this entire film. And she's a badass, but you need to know how and why she's a badass. So go watch Afterlife and see those types of things.
Yeah. Also, you just remind me another thing. So not only Kumail, the two things that I really would have liked more of Kumail, because of that exploration, because of also where he come in regards to his character and the ancient routes of his character. I would have loved more exploration on that, because I think there's a whole, as a creative myself, like I'm writing a whole story chapter on that. Like I would love to see and do. And tied to that as well is Winston just established that there's this ghost core. And there's this whole other thing that, again, I don't want to spoil for people, but where's that story and funding and what all him, like, I want more. I love Winston Zeddemore. He didn't get his cred back then. I still don't think my brother's getting all his cred. Okay, we gave him the money. He's running the show in certain ways, but the brother had like maybe 2 scenes in this damn film. Like, I need more of Winston. So I
That's
don't know.
fair.
Those are two of the things that are lacking. But again, overall, we are living in a great time to be Ghostbusters fans. This is awesome. But if they can step it up, y'all, if y'all can step it up, I'd appreciate it in those realms. I also want to add, we got to give a shout out to the director. I had his name up a second ago. But I think the other reason why we can be thankful we're living in a great time of Ghostbusters fans is that the writer director, oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm trying to find it real quick. He also wrote Afterlife. Gil Kennan. There it is, Gil Kennan. So I think having that continuity is so extremely important because again, Afterlife was outstanding. To have him come back and give you Frozen Empire, we're gonna get good stories, and I think he has to be a diehard Ghostbusters fan because he's giving all the nuggets that you want as a Ghostbusters fan, but also bringing something fresh and new to the table. And I hope we get more Gil Kennan Ghostbusters. I at least give the brother trilogy, give him one more, and if it does well for y'all, Sony, keep giving money into his pockets because I think he has a handle on these characters, and I think they can do so much more. Maybe even give us a new cartoon. And again, thank you on that nod too, Heather. I was a big fan of the cartoon and the comics books from Now, and then I think they went to another publisher. I still have them all. They're in my long boxes that I would have to explore. But I just love Ghostbusters, and yeah, such a fan. It's a good time to be a Ghostbusters fan. Any other comments from you, Heather?
I do want to go back to talking about the film in a second because, of course, you know, we're critics. We got to do what critics do. But another shout out to Ivan Reitman, who we lost prior to this film. But what was really, really cool, if you didn't know this, his son Jason Reitman decided to take on the mantle, and he actually has been an important part to this franchise. So just shout out to the family legacy that is this film. It's not only seen on screen, but it's seen off. So you know, rest in peace, Ivan Reitman, but also rock on to keeping it in the family and. We're looking forward to more of it.
Yeah, definitely Jason Reitman. Yeah.
Yes.
Gil Kennan couldn't do what he could do if Jason wasn't given the A-OK and then working with the rest of the talent behind it, because I think a lot of the other Ghostbusters, the reason why it took so long, they wanted it to be right, and they wanted it to honor Ivan Reitman and oh my God, the actor that passed that was part of the cast, that is the Spengler. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting names right now. But you know, they just wanted it to be right all the way around to just make it a good film for the audience, and I think they got the formula, and I hope they continue. But again, you were saying, Heather, I'm sorry, just echoing, giving you stamps of cosigns for what you're saying.
That's fair. Harold Ramis, by the way, is the one we lost, and you get to see a little bit. Ramis is the one you lost.
Yes, Harold Ramis. Rest in peace. Miss you, brother.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to the film, I did want to bring up one more aspect of this film. Once again, it's an ensemble. Sometimes you lose out on some little things of character development with the ensemble. So we can give a little bit of that credit. One thing, though, that was kind of disappointing to me, and I'm not, once again, no spoilers, we're not going to give it away, was the ending. The film was really, really great. It had a lot, not enough, in my opinion. And once again, if we want more, that means that we enjoyed it. If we want more, that means we are in it to win it, right? But one thing that I really was not a fan of is we kind of got this really short, cut out, quick ending. It started and then it was over. It was very reminiscent of a lot of things that we saw in the first film, and then we just kind of we're done. What I'm hoping is that we get an extended cut, because I feel like we lost some stuff. It's both in character development and in that ending, because once again, we are here to be honest with y'all. We are always going to say we did love this movie. We thought it was a lot of fun. We definitely think you should watch it in IMAX, see it in IMAX. But I was kind of disappointed in the ending, or in the climax of the film. The ending actually was incredibly sweet, but the climax of the fight, I was like,
I will co-sign that. I guess my nostalgia love is just beaming, Heather. But if I sit down and think about it, to your point, yeah, I think, you know, because again, I'm in that afterglow, if you will, because we just recently watched it, y'all. And but yeah, if I think about it, I don't know if he really did it all the way. Excuse me. I'm playing. But yeah, that ending wasn't a good. It could have used some work. It felt half done, half baked, if you will. I do like, without spoiling, that they leave stuff open. I don't think that's spoiling anything. Because again, and I've said, you know, I love more of a franchise. Gil Kennan is a amazing talent that gave us Afterlife and now continuing on here with Frozen Empire. I hope he has more in it to give, because it does leave it open there. But yeah, there is some items missing there that it doesn't, again, fully baked, that I would have done. Although it still worked for me. I still feel that they're establishing something. So I think like, oh, we're going to be getting more. Like, I'm already feeling as a fan, they've got the formula. It's going to come. And that's why also I'm cooling my afterglow. But if I think about it, yeah, you didn't maybe clinch it all the way, but it's only because I feel like they're going to give me more. But you just never know in Hollywood. And that could
that's true. And
be a downer for fans.
No, it's one of those where we're going to give you an honest opinion. We're going to say exactly how we feel. Were there weaknesses? Absolutely. Were the things that can be continued? Oh, totally. One of the big theories on the interwebs is that this is the opening point for, and I'm not going to say yes or no to this, but this is an opening point for having a larger worldwide franchise. Like, we're going to go Batman Incorporated on this. We're going to go all over the place.
Ghost Corps.
And what? But it's one of those where we definitely have opportunities going forward. But at the same time, I don't want to say that this was a perfect movie. It was not. Afterlife had a far more completed and more well inputted climax to the fight that I thought. This movie just kind of.
I cried on Afterlife.
Yeah,
I will still cry at the end of Afterlife.
If you don't cry at the end of Afterlife, you're
cold-blooded.
You are cold-blooded. One, I do not believe, once again, real fan is a fake word. It's a fake concept. You can be a fan no matter how new, no matter how long you've been within a fandom. But you are not a true fan if that doesn't make you fall apart, that ending. And honestly, you don't have emotions if you don't see how hard that ending hit into Afterlife. But once again, I'm specifically talking about the climax of the fight. There was some weaknesses to it, but for the most part, the movie was a lot of fun. There are a lot of things that I think that they could pick up on, not just from the Ghostbusters aspect. We have a lot of family dynamics and drama that we could really grow from.
I completely agree. I actually have some thoughts, and so actually, guys, I'm gonna continue. We're gonna close it out right now, but I'm gonna save this portion for the very end of this video. So. There's going to be spoilers. So I'm already going to give you a spoiler warning. I'm going to include another segment of me and Heather talking about something real quick. But for you all watching this and you don't want to get spoiled, don't watch to the end of the credits of this particular video, because we're going to get into something. It won't be too spoilery, but it will be somewhat spoilery. So
like, subscribe, and share so that we'll like, subscribe from here. All of our information's down there. All right. Now, Kuya.
Well, not yet. We're going to roll credits. All right. Heather Hurt, your boy Kuya Nerds rule the world. Stay tuned at the end of the at the end credits. We're going to get into something.
We're going to do a post-credit scene, guys.
Exactly. All right, y'all. Like I said, we're giving you a little bit bonus on this review. Heather, so we were talking about the ending to close out our review of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. One of the things that, again, thinking about my problem, because again, I was in my afterglow, still in my afterglow, but what I would have liked and what I was maybe hoping is we have Kumail Nanjiani, the Fire Master, and we know he's part of these ancient Ghostbusters. And I really love that concept. And like I was saying earlier, like I have a whole tale in my head. But what I was thinking, what would be cool to close this out and then also bring us into the next bunch of movies, is that we would have like maybe 4 other, like Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, like the other elements of Ghostbusters, and they'd be tied to these elements, right? And these other 3 were going to walk out to help close out the baddie, and it would be like we would all be amazing, and it'd be some super. I don't know who they would have cast, but can you just imagine like this Earth, Wind, Water, Fire cast of ancient Ghostbusters, and then to close this out, and we're gonna be like, oh my god, we can't wait for the next one. That would have been a killer ending. But like, if not the Earth, Wind, Fire, but just the other set of ancient Ghostbusters, another 3, because there's 4 members of the Ghostbusters, but another 3 members of, if you go by the OG count, excuse me, because there's the OG Ghostbusters, there's like 4 of them: Winston, Ray, oh my gosh. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But and I was combining it with Earth, Wind, Water, Fire shit. But like, I think that would have been a bananas ending to like give us like these ancient Ghostbusters that are now teamed together, and there's gonna be an even bigger baddie. Like kind of like that whole MC kind of Marvel setup build up type shit. Like that would have like really put me over the top, and I would have been like, okay, yeah, this is better than Afterlife, Heather. But I probably still wouldn't been Afterlife, because Afterlife, I don't think I'm gonna cry watching Frozen Empire. I will always cry with Afterlife.
There was a moment that I had a little tear. There was a very, once again, the very final moment was really, really, really cute with Paul Rudd. But when it comes to that, there might be some problems with Avatar, The Last Airbender, that a lot of people wouldn't be able to separate church and state from, because some of the magic elements from a human perspective, they're so for me. Like honestly, when the magic comes in from the human perspective, and yes, I do know that magic has technically been in the Ghostbusters universe from a wider book and television show perspective. It just was really freaking goofy in this film, and I think part of that was because we did not get enough. Kareem was not able to develop enough that it didn't seem kind of goofy. But it's one of those where, would it be very interesting to have more films on the ancient guardians kind of thing? I wouldn't call them guardians, because that's probably fighting some copyright too. But like, we see how this character, his Kareem's family they were fire starters or fire warriors or whatever they were called. Fire masters, because that is where that's where they were. They were fighting against an ice ghost. There has to be other elements out there. So if we were looking at it from like an elemental perspective, who were the water masters helping defeat? What was happening at a worldly level that we needed these types of warriors to protect the humans or the lively people from the spirits?
And my to go along with that, my thought also, because we've established that there's these ancient Ghostbusters, we have Winston running the Ghost Corps, if you will, which are more making it international, more wide based, that he would have brought them in as another tie-in. Because where was Winston in different areas? It just didn't make any sense. Now, if I'm breaking it down even more out of my afterglow, like Winston just kind of like came back. Lucky was there, but like Winston just, okay, now I'm going to suit up. Like he had been on the phone making calls, I would assume, to the rest of the other Ghost Corps, and then maybe to these ancient Ghostbusters. Like he's got the connection all together. Like I need all that to just be one good gumbo. Like mix it all up. Let's have some fun. But anyway, those are my thoughts, y'all. We won't talk any more spoilery stuff, but yeah, I think there's just a playground of where they can go with this going forward. And I'm excited for more, if not more films, some cartoons too. What do you think, Heather? Comic books. Give us all.
Get us everything. Give us something so that we can have a wider universe. If you're going to make it a wider universe, make it a wider universe. You don't necessarily need to necessarily make it a multiverse, but it will be fun to expand the story in the way that we would like to see an expansive story. So absolutely.
I only say multi because I do want my 2016 Ghostbusters as well. That's where I'll say multi, because I think they deserve it, but I definitely want the expanded current group of Ghostbusters. I think this is just an amazing playground to rock with. And I'm right, y'all. Holla at your boy. I got ideas. All right, y'all. Heather Hurt, your boy Kuya P. We've already given y'all the credits. We're at the end of the credits. This is post credits. Just more thoughts, more vibes. I just love Ghostbusters because busting makes me feel good. So good. Frozen Empire. Heather hates that, but I love saying that. It's so good. Bye, y'all.